You've been found guilty of cheating.
They have no proof.
Please, God.
They know why you got a lifetime ban. He stopped
Why you got a lifetime ban?
They can do what they want to, but they need to prove it. Because you can't get it on a fight. He don't for that stuff.
Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sports. Your boy Ronnie Lott, the sports job. Folks, I'm barely holding on. It's the hurricane edition. Even the winds of the hurricane stop us. But we still here. We got talent in the building. Controversially, go ahead, talent. Say something, man.
Talent in the building, a.k.a. Tropical Storm Staley. I'm in the building, people.
Terrible, folks. Tropical Storm Stanley. Makes no sense.
Nah, I ain't talking. Nah,
the winds are strife.
A.k.a. Tropical Staley in the building. That's what I'm about to bring right now. I'm about to bring the storm to you.
You more like some scattered showers, man. Tighten up.
I'm a category 5, fool. I'm coming in, I'm wrecking stuff.
Let's go ahead and get into the sports. Well, you know, I want to thank you again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. Let me tell you where to find us at, folks. First, check us on YouTube, youtube.com/FUKJosh420 / Spectator Sport, the #1. Check us on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the #1, at Holland Jungle, at FUKJosh, at Ronnie Lott. Go ahead and get into the show. Let's talk a little bit about Lance Armstrong, folks. Recently, Lance Armstrong stopped his fight against, I guess, the governing body, who basically he has basically accepted his banishment from cycling and from a career that never was. So you just went from being the greatest cyclist of all time to never existing. You don't exist, Lance Armstrong. What you got to say about this talent?
Well, I do not agree with you at all, sir, if you thinking Lance Armstrong was doing the doping or whatever.
I didn't think it. Allegedly, that's what came out.
They had no proof still. What happened was...
So why you stop fighting?
Let's get the real story out right now. He stopped the fight again. He didn't want to be in court no more with this whole situation. He had enough of it, so he stopped the fighting. They still had not brought any evidence against this man that proves
so why does he have a lifetime ban? What happened to all the failed drug results? Why does he have a lifetime ban?
He did. He did. When did he have? No, he didn't. Because if he would have failed drug tests, they would have. This would have never went to court. He never had any failed drug tests. They brought these charges against him. They never had evidence to prove it, though. They just kept making these allegations that he was doping, but they never had any failed tests because he would have never got past his first championship cycling. It's the fact that guy brought the one cyclist that got convicted. He brought Lance Armstrong.
No. Don't blame this on Floyd Landis. Floyd Landis was after Lance's career. Lance had already won 6 Tour de France.
But he started all this once he got convicted. He said Lance was doing it as well. And that's when they launched the investigation into Lance. But they still never had any hard evidence. The only reason the anti-doping agency, they can put the ban on him, that's fine. But they still never had any hard evidence to convict this guy. Because if he continued wanting to fight this, they cannot put the lifetime ban on because they can never prove it in court.
Folks,
that's what it boils down to. Same thing with the Roger Clemens situation. They had never had evidence against Clemens that he perjured himself.
Folks, you tune in to Spectator Sport with credibility and taking responsibility for the things that you do in your life means nothing, you know. On that side of Spectator Sport, it don't mean nothing because for some reason, all the people that are doing screwed up things in this country and in this world, talent always seems to think it's somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. That's the problem. That's the problem with the flies of this country. It's always somebody else's fault. You got caught in the room with a girl, it wasn't me. Why is it not you? Why is somebody else's fault? I'm tired of being somebody else for it. Lance, nobody else ain't put that in your body. You put in your body. You knew you were too old to be out there winning Tour de France. How the hell you win 7 Tour de France and the next closest guy, all these guys ain't professional athletes, the next closest guy got 2. So what that tell me? You cheating. So you're a cheater, you're a scum, and you got a lifetime ban. I don't care.
I'm going to quote a famous movie. Denzel Washington.
Oh, now you quoting Denzel.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And they cannot prove that he was doping. These are all allegations. That's the only thing they are. They have no physical evidence, no tests, no results that say this man had testosterone, HGH, steroids in his system. They have none of that. They can know it all they want, but they can't prove it. And that's what it boils down to. And there's no one's making excuses from anybody. And at the end of the day, I can care less about Lance Armstrong doping. It's not going to affect me either way, just like it won't affect you or anybody else.
It does affect me. What if my kids got to watch this cheater? What if my kids look up to Lance Armstrong? This guy's a cheater.
Hey, sir, I'm sorry to say I don't have any kids, but one thing I should tell these parents, like Charles Barkley said, I'm not your kid's role model. You should be your kid's role model.
Well,
your kid shouldn't be looking up to
you become a role model when you accept sponsorship deals and you got all these kids, and then
I don't accept.
Okay, let me tell you why. You had no choice.
With that company
you accept that money. Well, that money came with a responsibility. Like that. Let me quote another movie. Since you in the quote movies, let me quote another movie. Since you in the quote movies, let me quote the great Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. So if you're going to get that money and the power that comes with that, you got responsibility. And the flies don't understand it. That's why they be out of here. That's why I shake my head. Shame at you, Stevie J out here. You showing black men in a negative light, man. We better than what you showing out here, man. It's all about growth and progression. And I don't mean growing with your pants going from being saggy to tight. That ain't growth and progression. That's digression to me. Go ahead, Talon.
Well, like I said, dude, you like I said, you're just throwing out allegations. You have no physical evidence. These guys do not sign no contract to become anyone's role models. They sign a contract to promote a product and get paid for it. It's not their responsibility for your kids to look up to them to do the right thing. No, it's for the parent to teach their child. And like I said, Charles Barkley said it best. I'm not your child's role model. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. But like I said, if Lance Armstrong wanted to continue to fight this, he would have never got this lifetime ban, but he didn't want to do it. So like I said,
exactly.
It's not what you know anti-doping agency. It's what you can prove, and you couldn't prove it in court because that's why you still was in court, because if you could prove it in court, this would not even have went this long.
Also, same anti-doping agency who says that the majority of Olympians are probably on something and they just can't, they're probably only catching 30 to 40% of them, and they do say the number probably as high as 70% of them. So they're saying the doping agency. So listen, obviously they can't prove it because the crooks are always going to be above the test. So you could try to test them all you want, but the crooks is always going to find a way. When they got millions and millions of dollars, they can find out a way.
Dude, don't accuse me of something you can't prove. They can say this, they can say that. I can say the world's going to end tomorrow. But I don't have no proof of that, but I can say it all day and day. They have no proof that any of these the Olympic athletes are doing steroids because they can't prove any of it. Like I said, if they knew Lance Armstrong was doing the doping, if they can prove it, they would have never been in court this long. They had no physical evidence against this guy. They had no failed drug tests against this guy. That's why it was in court until he decided to stop the fight because he probably didn't want to continue to pay his lawyer. That's what it boils down to, bottom line.
Folks, this is Spectator Sport. I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. I'm going to give you a little insight into the show. Let me show you what happens in my world. Tal, let me ask you a question. How much research did you do on this particular subject?
I actually read a couple articles about this particular subject.
Folks, he doesn't read. That's a lie. Folks,
I do read things that I'm actually interested in, and I actually want, because once I heard that they had no physical evidence against him, so I actually read a couple articles, seeing what these allegations was about, and what I determined was the only reason they started this investigation was because of the cyclist who got busted, who confessed, then he tried to tell on Lance Armstrong, and this is how this whole thing got started. If that guy would have never
he should have stayed quiet. If that
guy would have never mentioned Lance Armstrong's name, they would have never ever lost an investigation on him, because at that point in time, they had nothing against Lance Armstrong. There was no anti-doping agency coming at Lance Armstrong until that guy brought his name up, and he had those championships for a while.
Let me ask you a question. So you're one of those stop snitching guys, huh? You're one of the guys who want to protect the criminals and the criminals organizations, the criminals and the criminal organizations, and the guy who continue to break the rules that are set forth by the governing bodies in their respective fields. So you're one of those guys. You're one of these stop snitching guys, huh? You're one of those guys.
Like I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, stop snitching. I don't even know what that means, sir. But like I said, they didn't do their job at the end of the day.
All right, folks.
They couldn't prove anything.
Folks, thanks again for tuning in Spectator Sport. Let's go ahead and go on to the next topic. Speaking of cheaters, Roger Clemens is trying to make a comeback. 50 years old. He throwing 80 miles an hour. The talent's impressed. I'm not impressed. You should be throwing 80 miles an hour when you've been on steroids for a few years. Get out of here, man. We don't want to hear from you. You 50. Go away. What you got to say about it?
Wow. Like I said, another thing with Roger Clemens, same situation. He was found innocent. He didn't go to jail. Okay. They don't have anything against Roger Clemens, but at the same time, you're convicting the guy, and he hasn't got convicted in the courtroom.
Hey,
so
man.
Obviously,
You said OJ was guilty.
huh?
Exactly. You can convict a black man. You can convict a black man, but you can't convict Roger
I never said OJ
Clemens.
was guilty. Don't put that evil on me. I didn't say OJ was guilty. I never said OJ
Now
was
you're
guilty.
getting evil put on you, but you're not the evil.
Well, I never said OJ was guilty. And so I don't know where you got that from, but Roger Clemens, like I said, never got convicted in the court of law, but this guy over here wants to convict the guy just because someone said something that he did, so supposedly, but they have no physical proof. I can say, damn, Michael Jordan was taking steroids when he was winning them six championships. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden,
He
Michael
probably
Jordan
was.
guilty.
Why not?
You don't
He's a
know
professional
this.
athlete.
What type of person? You can't just go out there and make these allegations
I'm
and
not
slander
alleging
someone's
that.
name when you have no evidence.
I'm
about
not
it.
alleging
That's
that,
called
but I'm not saying that
irresponsible
it's
journalism. That's what that's called when
I'm
you
not
have
a
no
journalist.
physical proof.
I'm not a
But
journalist.
if you want to have
I'm a
credibility,
spectator.
sir, you want to have some actual proof about what you're saying. You just don't want to be like Skip Bayless and just say ridiculous things and stay relevant and
No,
be known as
actually,
relevant guy.
I want to be like Skip Bayless. I want to be making all that money. I want to be relevant. I want to be on ESPN with a tight
You want to
face.
be taken
Just
as
be
a
out
joke.
here.
That's what you're saying. Because that's what everyone takes this guy as a joke.
Hey, you can take me as whatever you want to take me. You just better have my money when you come and try to take me. That's all I care about. Spectator Sport. Let's go ahead and keep it moving.
Spectator Sport.
Let's go ahead and talk about Russell Wilson. In his third preseason game, Russell Wilson had a pretty impressive day. With his 13 for 16, 119 yards. He had a pretty impressive day.
Threw 2 touchdowns as well.
2 touchdowns. So a lot of people has been talking about Russell Wilson possibly starting for that Seattle team. Now, how do you feel about Russell Wilson possibly being their starter?
I mean, me, I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start him. I understand he had a good game against, I think it was the Eagles the other night. We do the 2 touchdowns, like the stats you just mentioned. But just the simple fact that Matt Flynn actually won an NFL game for 1 NFL games, played in NFL games, looked good while he was playing against, when he was with the Packers, and also this preseason. Matt Flynn has not looked bad at all. Matt Flynn has actually looked very good this preseason. Russell Wilson, yes, he went up against 3rd string, 4th string guys who probably won't make the team, and he had the 1 good game against the starters, but I just don't think the experience is there at this point in time. This is still the preseason. People have to take that, still consider that this is not the regular season, and it's a whole different ball game once, week 1 actually begins. I think if Matt Flynn struggles in the first 4 games of the season, then I think they should go to Wilson to see what he has. But I think Flynn should get the opportunity to start and let him lose the job, because I don't think Wilson took the job from him in minicamps, just having good productive games against guys who probably won't even make the team, in preseason games. Flynn actually produced, and he looked good while he was doing it.
Well, I've always been pretty impressed by Russell and just the way he plays the game. He reminds me of just a classic game manager who knows how to play the game. He's an excellent quarterback. Seems to have full control of the game when he plays. I mean, he's a bit undersized. He has a good arm strength. So I think he can make the throws, and I think he makes pretty good decisions. So, like I said, I'm pretty excited of what I see from this kid and what he continues to do. But I do think it should be an open battle, and he should get an opportunity to really start in this league.
It has been open competition. I just don't think I just don't believe that he played his way into the starting lineup. I think that Flynn is still when Flynn was in the games and in practice, they're saying Flynn looks great. It's not the fact that Flynn is struggling. They just say Russell Wilson's just been producing. They even have this conversation that much in games and in practice. But I can't take too much into account in games. And with Flynn he's already been doing this in the NFL, and he's seen NFL defenses game plan against him, week in and week out when he had the starts in New England and last year in Detroit. So he's done this. He's a proven NFL commodity at this point in time, and Russell Wilson's not. So, like I said, give him 4 games and see what Flynn does. If it's not working out, if he's struggling, then you absolutely you should go ahead and see what Russell can give you, because he is a dual threat quarterback. He can make every throw from the pocket, but also he can get out of the pocket and make plays with his feet.
So how do you feel about them recently releasing? Recently, it was reported by T.O. on his Twitter site himself that he's been released by the team. How do you feel that's going to affect the team and them dropping T.O. after one pretty big drop on a deep bomb that he probably should have caught?
Well, I hope that's not the real reason why they released T.O., because that would just be not very smart. I mean, hopefully it's due to limited. They're saying it's due to limited roster spots, and between him and Braylon was looking a little bit better. T.O. was reportedly, they heard about him complaining in the locker room that he's not getting the ball. There's a variety of reasons that's out there why T.O. could be possibly was cut, but I mean, I think it kind of hurts him at the end of the day, because T.O. can still get behind defenses. Even, I mean, he dropped the pass in Denver. I don't know. I still don't think that's the real reason why they released him, but he can get behind defenses, and they don't have anybody else on that team that can get behind defenses like T.O. He's 39 years old, still running the 4.4 freaking 40, and you've seen that what he can do as far as what in camp, what he was doing, and also in games. I mean, and Braylon and Sidney Rice, who can't even stay healthy, and the other receivers that they have, none of those guys are deep threats. So, I mean, is it a bad move? I can't say it's a bad move, because I'm not in the practice every day. I'm not the coach of that team. But would I have made the move? No. I think I would want to see what T was going to do for me at least week 1. It's not like there's a limit or a time frame where you need to cut your players by. I would still would have took T.O. into the regular season with me. But like I said, it could have been a variety of reasons why they released T.O.
Definitely, I agree with you. Like I said, I definitely thought that they should have stuck with T.O. and just give the kid a chance. I really think, like I said, he's a seasoned veteran. You know he's not gonna catch everything, but at the same time, he's definitely gonna perform. Now let's go ahead and go on to something else. Now, recently it was reported out of Cowboys camp that Dez Bryant is on strict behavior rules coming off a tumultuous offseason where there was a lot of stuff being said in terms of the whole issue with his mother and all that's been going on with Dez. So how do you feel about that whole situation and them reporting their whole behavioral requirements of Dez? To me personally, I would say if you're an employer, you don't want to report that type of stuff. Why would you report that to the press? You know, I mean, if you care about Dez staying in line, so now you make that a story where all throughout the year, Dez can't do anything wrong without them bringing that up, you know? So I think on the team-wise, Jerry Jones, I don't know what you're doing. I know you're getting money, but you got to be thinking about something else, man. Come on, man. Do better.
Well, it's a Pac-Man Jones situation when they brought Pac-Man there. I mean, they had him under surveillance, and he couldn't do this and he couldn't do that. I mean, it's the same rules that apply. He can't go to strip clubs. He can't drink. He has to be in his home by 12 o'clock. It's a lot of strip where he has to have a security detail with him.
You can't go to a strip club?
He's not allowed to go to strip clubs.
Come on, man. How you gonna take the strip club from the fly? Yeah, come on, you gonna give a fly money and take away the strip club?
The thing about that is, man, you can take away the drinking. You can take away even the time that he can be in. Take away. You can add the security there, but you're gonna take women away from an athlete. That's rough right there, man. At that point in time, I would have walked in Jerry Jones' office and would have just slapped him. I would have just went right across his face like, "Don't you ever!" And then up to that.
You can take everything away, Jerry Jones. Just don't take the women.
Everything away from a man, but don't you take his women away from him. From a man. And is this going to prevent Dez Bryant from getting in trouble? Absolutely not. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you're a troublemaker, you're a troublemaker. You're like T.I. got an album coming out called Trouble Man. He's just a trouble man. You understand what I'm saying? Listen to the album name. Trouble Man. This is what this guy is. He's a troubled man. He has problems. He has issues. There's always going to be something that comes up. It probably, maybe now it might not be outside in the club, but maybe now it might be between him and his girlfriend or him and a family member. There's something, him and a teammate, who knows, or him back in the mall with his pants sagging. He's a trouble man. That's basically what Dez Bryant is at this point in time. But what's so funny to me is I don't understand why none of these issues was at Oklahoma State. It's crazy to me how all of a sudden you get to the NFL, now you have all these run-ins with the law.
Because he's getting money now. He's getting money. That's what happens when you get money.
You basically had a flaw. It was flawless. He had no issue. I mean, the NCAA thing with the Deion Sanders taking the dinner, which that was not criminal, but
money issue.
What he has going on now is just amazing. But to me, like I said, he's a troubled man. Like I said, that's T.I.'s new album, people. I know I'm doing T.I. drop in December, but it relates to this topic. He's a troubled man. That's what Des Bryant is. He's always going to find a way to find some trouble.
Speaking of trouble, man, Vontae Davis was recently traded by the Dolphins to the Colts for a second-round pick. I don't know what's going on with the Dolphins, the whole front office. I think it's nothing but trouble, retarded men in there, and I hate to use that word in a derogatory manner. Yeah, I hate to use that word in a derogatory manner, but when speaking about Dolphin front office, I think that applies. Oh, speaking of Lance Armstrong, the cheater. I don't even want to go there. Let's go ahead and so what do you thought about the whole Vontae thing?
Well, the Vontae Davis thing, I think Hard Knocks is really doing a number on the Miami Dolphins at this point in time.
Ah, come on. You blaming Hard Knocks?
Let me tell you why
Hard Knocks ain't making no moves. Come on.
Let me tell you why Hard Knocks is doing giving the Dolphins such problems right now. Is because they need these storylines. They need this drama on the TV show. If you really look at the Des Bryant releasing, it's just utterly ridiculous. Vontae Davis. No, Vontae Davis. I mean, the trading of Vontae Davis. I mean, you have to really think about what you just did there. You just released Vontae Davis for a second-round draft pick. You released basically a guy who could easily be a Pro Bowl corner next year, can be a top defender in this league.
Tell him we comment on his comment.
Over what? Because Joe Philbin wants to continue to flex his muscle and release and trade players? Because like I said, your boy Jeff Ireland, this couldn't have been his decision.
Philbin better win, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean,
Philbin, I'm getting tired of this fool, man.
Listen to me. I'm getting so tired of Philbin. Since Philbin's got there, he basically traded away 2 Pro Bowl players.
Yeah, man.
How are you gonna win games if you're trading away your best players for
3.
draft picks?
You trade away 2 Pro Bowl players and you cut one.
And And how you gonna win games trading away these guys to get draft picks for unproven players? These are Pro Bowlers. Brandon Marshall was a Pro Bowler. He's gone. Vontae Davis is a Pro Bowler. You cut your safety. These are the guys who contributed to the team that was the reason why the team was having success last year. And I just don't understand. I understand these guys get paid a lot of money to do this. But when you look at the Dolphins roster and they go make no moves at receiver, you tell me what was the reason behind releasing Brandon Marshall or the reason of releasing Vontae Davis. Oh, because they didn't want to fall in the line with Joe Philbin was doing. You're a coach, Joe Philbin. That's your job. You're supposed to make them buy into what you're doing. This is why you're hired. You know, you can't just, this guy's not really following what I'm saying. Let's just release him.
Yeah,
but now your team is going to look very weak. So now when your corners, your rookie corner, and Sean Smith, who I don't think he's a good corner at all, is liability and coverage and getting beat over the top. I bet you're going to wish, I wish I had that guy number 21 back here who's going to be in the Pro Bowl. Nice.
Yeah, real nice. But I mean, I definitely agree with you. Like I say, man, if you're gonna be a coach out here and you flexing muscles and you doing all this thing, but when you doing that, you definitely gotta be on point because you gotta remember, first and foremost, the most important thing in this league is winning. If you ain't winning, all that other stuff is irrelevant, you know. I mean, it's a win. It's a win-first league. You want to be the nice guy. You want to have a religious team, or you want to paint this particular picture of a team that's well disciplined. Well, hey, all that means nothing if you're losing. You're just another loser who's gonna be out the door in 2 years. So step your game up, Philbin. Stop cutting all the flies and keep it real, man. Keep it moving. Let's go ahead and talk about something. I'm tired of talking about my filthy Dolphins and Bree of the Groundhogs. I see Brett of the Groundhogs. I see you on Facebook talking about you seeing Vontae on Hard Knocks and you thought he was a crybaby and it's one less dude. Okay, it's one less good player on a sorry team. So what that's gonna make us even sorrier. So yeah, you can have all your barbecues and do all your grilling, but it don't matter how many barbecues you have, those sorry bleep mother effers that play for the Miami Dolphins ain't gonna win many games, and I'm a Dolphin fan. I promise you.
That's my problem with Dolphin fans. Every time they make a move, oh, well, they did it because he did this or he did that. They try to make excuses of why their Pro Bowl players are being released. You can't make excuses for that. That's why Dolphin fans, most of them are not realistic when it comes to their team. And it's just ridiculous. You really just said that, guy? Guy, you really just said that. You said, oh, he was a crybaby. For real? Was he a crybaby last year when he was on that field locking up the number one corner?
Exactly.
Oh, was he a crybaby there? Nice.
Please translate for us?
Yeah, I know, right? I definitely taking that one.
Man, they can't have few. No, I mean this, really. Can you literally translate that?
Nah, that's not. I don't know. I don't know that.
Oh, that's Swahili?
Yeah, that's some other shit. Folks, we apologize. Spectator Sport was basically impaired by the visual of some brass. We are men here, so I apologize for that. Let's.
I'm bad.
Oh, I see that we do have a Don Imus in the building, so apologize for his terrible comments.
Think about it, though, but come on, they all out there. Ooh, it ain't probably smelling too good out there.
Speaking of things that don't smell too good, how you felt about this girl that was recently cut by the whole LSU football team, the kicker? How you felt about that whole situation?
I think it was in the best interest of the team because a female kicker, especially when she's attractive, could be very distracting on road trips.
Whoa.
The reason
why can't she be judged on her skills?
Listen to me. The reason why I say that, people, well, actually, she didn't make the team because she wasn't better. She was not better than the kickers that they currently have. Trust me. I've seen LSU kickers, and trust me, she wasn't better than any of them. And people, I did play Division III football, but we did go on road trips and overnight trips. And you know, players do look for things to do when they have time off, and you gotta have curfew by 12 o'clock, and you let your players off at around 9 o'clock. They're looking for things to do, and having her there is a liability because there's going to be a guy that she likes, or a guy who likes her, and you got the guys around her just because she's a female.
So what, you think she doesn't have any respect for herself? Just because she's a female, she's going to have to sleep with one of the players on the team? Come on, talent. You're a selfish pig, and you should not say that.
Absolutely, that would have happened. I have no problem saying that because I know what happens on these trips, especially with football players, and you even have players in the lobby looking for women who stay in the hotel to talk to. So when you have one that's right on the team on the bus with them and stuff, oh, trust me, there would have been some issues.
I guess them boys don't know about the page, you know.
Them boys need to go find the page. I know y'all boys got a little bit of change in y'all pockets. I know y'all boys getting paid a little bit.
Yeah, man, definitely. Spend your money, man. Spend it wisely, though, fellas. But I'll say this, you know, I think, like I said, she should be judged based on her gameplay and not her sexuality. If she's able to play the game and play it like any of the other kickers and be on that level to be at a #1 top 2 team in the SEC, yeah, sure. If she's able to make that team, I don't think it should be any restrictions on her. I will say that she's a fairly attractive woman, so I know one of the flies gonna get at her, you know. So you talking about it does have a chance of being a pretty destructive situation. Then she's gonna be like the Olympic what's that shooter that was 6 months pregnant while performing in the Olympics. So imagine she kicking while pregnant. That'll be a scene.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, she didn't get cut because she was a woman. She got cut because she just wasn't as talented as the other kickers they had on the team.
I definitely agree with that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next. And now, speaking of the SEC, now, who do you think is going to win that conference?
Oh, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, you want to say Alabama, but Alabama has so many new parts coming back to the team as far as they have a fresh new running back. The receivers are still, young. The defense is young, but they still got playmakers, and you never want to bet against Nick Saban. I mean, LSU, they just lost Tyrann Mathieu, obviously, to the, they kicked him out of school. He's in the drug
to the
rehab.
hippie lettuce.
So he, with them missing Matthew, and you got an unproven quarterback, but Mettenberger can throw the ball. But the receivers, they still got a lot of talented receivers. They have a very talented defense. The secondary is very young, though. So, I mean, that can be another favorite, but I think I'm going to go with Arkansas. I think Arkansas can get it done this year. They have a lot of start. They have 7 starters returning on defense and 8 on offense. You got a Heisman Trophy candidate and Tyler Wilson who can spread it out. And I just think with Alabama's defense still being young and LSU secondary being very young, if Arkansas's defense can find a way to get some stops in those games, I think they can win the SEC. Most definitely, because I don't think Georgia and in the other division can beat Arkansas.
I'm gonna go back with the champs. Like I said, I think that Alabama team is probably gonna, with the loss of Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. I think that Alabama team should be able to continue on and be the #1 team in that conference. But I'm still gonna go with the #1 team in the nation as my national championship contender. I'm probably gonna go with Matt Barkley, my Heisman Trophy candidate, and the USC Trojans to have a bounce back year and get back into national championship contention. They definitely should be there in the end. So what do you think about that, Talon?
Well, like I said, the Heisman favorite that I'm probably looking at is Tyler Wilson, especially if he can win the SEC, most definitely, because that means he's going to be putting up some very impressive numbers. I don't think the Bobby Petrino situation is really going to slow that team down. I just think that the coach that's coming in, he's coached there before, so he has a good idea of what they do and what they like to do on offense as far as what Bobby Petrino was doing. So I think if Tyler Wilson can win the SEC, I think he's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Tyler Wilson. Well, yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Let's go ahead and move on a little bit now. Spectator Sport, let me tell you where to find us, folks. Check us on YouTube at Spectator Sport, youtube.com/FUKJosh420 / Spectator Sport, the #1. Check us on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the #1, at Holland Jungle, at FUKJosh, at Ronnie Lott. You can also check out my boy at Nando Chang 89. I want to say big congratulations to him. He just recently dropped a single. Oh, folks, we just see the image of Hurricane Isaac, and they actually have Isaac from the Love Boat going through the projected path. Just hysterical. But let's go ahead and continue on. I kind of just lost my train of thought there, messing around with Hurricane Isaac. Folks, we are struggling through the hurricane. You got to bear with us. Okay, let me get back to it. I was congratulating the kid, Nando Chang, on his release of his new single off the Tones and Chick Lionel mixtape, Ken Soy. It's a unbelievable song, really musical. It just takes this kid's sound to a completely different level. I think this is probably going to be the epic smash that brings him that crossover appeal. Like I said, I expect a lot of big things from this kid, the international star, the one and only Nando Chang 89. Let's go ahead and continue on. How do you feel about Strasburg getting shut down for the rest of the year?
That's a real touchy situation there. I mean, those fans pay good money to come out to those games, especially when your team is in playoff contention. You're shutting down a guy that's been a big part of that, and then you're talking about the fans, they're not getting their money's worth, but then at the same time, you got to take it to account. He just came off the Tommy John surgery. You don't want him to do anything else to re-injure that. I mean, to cause any conflict with that injury that he had with the Tommy John surgery. So I can understand why they want to shut him down as of right now, which I think he's already been shut down, or at least I think it's going to happen in October. I'm not sure. But you can see both sides of it. But at the same time, like I said, the fans pay to see the best players play and also to, get to the playoffs. So, I mean, it's just a tough situation, but you can understand why the organization want to shut him down. No more injuries to that throwing arm.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. I just want to go ahead and folks give you guys a brief insight in some of our social networking. I just want to let you know, Talent, that someone did respond to your recent video of you doing your whole Ireland skit and you giving out some information there. H did reply to it and says Josh don't know what the F he talking about. Jeff Ireland been killing the Dolphins since day one. As long as he the GM of the Dolphins, will never be ish. So yeah, Josh.
So I don't understand. Like, how do I not know what I'm talking about then if I just said, he agreed with me. I just said, I don't think Ireland was making that. I don't think Ireland made that decision. I think that was more of a Joe Fieldman
he
decision.
feel that it was Ireland's decision, so he
It's
doesn't
not
agree with
Ireland's decision because Ireland drafted Vontae Davis. Vontae Davis is still under a rookie contract, so the Dolphins are not paying Vontae Davis anything at this time. So tell me again, why is that? Why would Jeff Ireland, being a GM and understanding what he needs to do as a GM, release one of his best players that he drafted that could possibly make a Pro Bowl next year? Stop blaming Jeff Ireland. That's not Jeff Ireland's decision. He had to take the recommendations from the coaching staff to get rid of this guy, just like Philman wants to flex his muscle against Chad Johnson. In the same way, you had Dolphins players coming out against saying he should have stood behind the guy. They should let the process go through. So once again, H, you gambling junkie, you don't know what you're talking about, sir.
So folks, check us on Spectator Sport, Facebook.com/Spectator Sport. You can go ahead and get in, chime in on this H debate. Please let H know that Josh says that he isn't ish. Thank you. Let's go ahead and continue on. Spectator Sports, your boy Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock. I know it's been a lot of debate going on in Boston. A lot of players hating management, a lot of management hating players. Terry Francona's not there. We have what's your boy name again?
Valentine.
Bobby V, coming straight out of China. So Bobby V, everybody's hating Bobby V because he's such a tedious manager. He's always coming to the mound. He's just one of those managers that it's a guy that everybody loves to hate. So basically, they recently had an unbelievable blockbuster trade where they basically gave away all their good players, Josh Beckett, Gonzalez, and a few other guys, just for peanuts, basically peanuts, a pack of juice, some gum, just a few things that Bobby Valentine needed. So how you felt about the trade, Talent?
I mean, the trade works out for everyone at this time. I mean, the Red Sox, they get to start from scratch. They get to shut off 262.
They get to start from scratch with some new bubble gum?
Well, they get to start from scratch. That's what they wanted. They wanted to rebuild the team. They get rid of $262 million off their salary, off their books. And the Dodgers get Adrian Gonzalez, which was one of their best players. And they also get Josh Beckett. They get Carl Crawford, who just last year before he got hurt, everyone was trying to get. The Dodgers picked up some great players. And, at the same time, they get Josh Beckett as well, who they said it's easier to pitch in the national leagues because the rotations are shorter or the lineups are shorter. So I think it works out for both parties. Now, Valentine don't have to worry about these guys going against him in the locker room and having all these issues with the veteran players. And the Boston fans get rid of the people who they believe are whining and causing the team all these problems and not really focusing on the game instead of the issues in the locker room. So I think it's a win-win situation, but Boston fans, you're just like Dolphin fans. You want to blame everybody but management sometimes, which doesn't make any sense if you want to blame players but not the management when a trade happens, which, like I said, Dodgers are willing to take on $262 million to make their team better to try to win a World Series and get in the playoffs. Hey, they got the money to do it. I think the deal works out for both parties at this time.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you in terms of them getting Boston needed to start over. You got all these guys who are just unhappy. They weren't winning. So it was just a lot of BS going on in Boston. These guys making so much money and they sit around and barely play. Baseball is such a boring and slow sport. Imagine we did a baseball show all day. Oh, and the pitch. Come on, man. I don't even want to do that. Let's go ahead. Spectator Sport. Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock, folks. I'm a little tired. I'm fighting through this hurricane. Hurricane Isaac is knocking on my love boat. So, folks, I'm really fighting it. We're trying to stay alive. Our power's going in and out, folks. We stuck on like 2 pieces of bread. We got a few canned goods, but we still holding out, baby. We holding out. We're going to have some footage for y'all. We're going to have talent reporting live from the storm, so look out for it.
Tropical Stella would not be reporting anything.
I ain't gonna lie though, I love to see those reporters in the storm. That storm be kicking their ass.
That'd be dumb as hell.
Oh man, it's a tornado coming.
You gotta get stabbed by something. You out there trying to report the weather.
I ain't gonna lie, think about it. How many black reporters you be seeing out in the storms like
that?
One. No black women.
No black women. Never. You never see a sister out in the store talking about Hurricane Isaac coming. Let me get out on the beach and get my hair wet for one, get my weave wet for one, and then on top of that, you got all these winds coming. No way, man. No chance at all. You see that.
The water alone is going to spook them.
You worry about Augusta National. Get your ass out of there.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Spectator Sport, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. Speaking of Augusta National, finally the barriers of oppression has been broken down at Augusta National, and not the barriers for blacks, but the barriers for women. The women's movement is in full effect, full swing. You thought it would have been Sarah Palin, Hillary. No, it's Condoleezza Rice.
Sounds like a Mexican dish. Maybe we should chop her up and feed her to the Mexicans. I'm just quoting Dave Chappelle, people. I have no problems with it.
So, folks, Condoleezza Rice was one of the two ladies just allowed access, membership access to that prestigious golf club. And, I mean, it's been a long time coming. They always mention that they want to do it in line with their own time frame. But I think it's definitely time, tired of the all boys club, I don't like that too much. I like the boys and girls club. So we need some girls around. But if y'all want to go to the all boys club, do what you gotta do. But I'm gonna go to the boys and girls club. Where you going, Talent?
First of all, I don't think that this is even a big deal, to be honest with you. Two women being added to Augusta. What is the big deal at the end of the day? What is that? I understand, what is this? Is this transcending or something?
It is transcending.
Whoa, they're allowed to play at Augusta, like women were never allowed to play golf.
Exactly. No,
they couldn't play at Augusta National. They still were playing golf. There's all women clubs. What is the big freaking deal? And these people didn't want women in their club initially. They said they want to do it in their own time frame, but probably pressure got to them, just like pressure gets to any organization. I don't think it's a big deal that two women got added to Augusta. Who cares? What is this going to change? Is this going to feed starving kids in this world? Is this going to stop crime? What is this going to do? Is this going to restore our economy? This is not going to do anything. This is not even major. I don't understand. I think we have, as a society, have nothing else to talk about, and we're sick of reporting bad things. I guess it's a little shy.
Talent. Whoa. You know what?
That's why they're doing it. But at the end of the day, if these gentlemen didn't want women into their organization, or even, if they just wanted to be an all-white organization, I don't know. They can do that because they started it. It's their business. It's nothing to do with me. I'm not trying to join. And I just don't understand. Why do you want to be somewhere where people don't even want you?
Okay, so let me ask you the question, Talent. Since you're a colored golf player, and that's how you'd be considered at Augusta National. So what if it was back a few years where blacks wasn't allowed to play at Augusta? So let me ask you this. So what if you want? So you wouldn't have wanted to play at Augusta at all?
No, I wouldn't. Why would I want to go somewhere where no one wants it if they don't want me there? Why would you want to be in a place where someone doesn't want you there?
Because you have the same rights that they had to that land.
I don't
you should be able to play there.
I wouldn't
if that's the
even
most,
go.
check me out. If that's the most prestigious golf club, and you want to test your game at all the great clubs, like you want to be like a basketball player. That's like Kobe saying, "Okay,
I wouldn't want to go.
I play in L.A., but I know all the New Yorkers hate me, so I don't want to go to Rucker Park because I know New Yorkers hate me." No, Kobe says, "I'm going to Rucker Park because that's where all the greats play at, and I'm gonna go show them that I can go to Rucker Park and bust anybody behind at Rucker Park."
Basketball doesn't have an all-boys club, so we're talking about golf here. Like I said, I'm not gonna go somewhere where people don't want me, where I'm not accepted. So like I said, if women, I don't know why would they want to be somewhere if these men, this old boy network don't want them in their club, they don't want to see women in there. Why do you want to be there? I just don't understand it. Like, what does it accomplish for you? Oh, we complained our way into a club that really doesn't want us. If that's an accomplishment, like I said, it doesn't get rid of world hunger. It doesn't stop crime. It doesn't get our economy going because Augusta National allowed two women into their in their clubhouse. Sorry, it just doesn't. I really don't even care.
I mean, I do care, ladies. I care about the women. But, I mean, how do you choose Condoleezza Rice? Come on, man. Condoleezza ain't playing no golf. And if she is, come on, Connie. Come on,
like
Connie.
Bill Gates has a membership at Augusta. I'm pretty sure Bill Gates never plays there.
Allegedly, folks. The talent has no information to verify this.
Go on the list.
I mean, it's not alleged that he's a member. It's alleged that he doesn't play.
He doesn't play there. I can guarantee you Bill Gates does not go to Augusta to go play golf. He goes to his nice club in Cali or Seattle where they have these nice, great, beautiful golf courses. And why is he going to fly all the way to Augusta to play? I don't fly to Augusta to play. Maybe he had business in Georgia probably, but at the same time, how often he's probably even in Georgia. Guys, they got to worry about real problems of the world. They don't worry about having a membership to Augusta.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about something else. Let's get off the Augusta debate. Let's talk about the battle that was between the number 1 and the number 2 quarterbacks yesterday, Andrew Luck and the Colts versus RG3 and the Redskins in the 3rd preseason game, a game where normally you get a lot more playing time. So how you felt about that game and the way both guys looked?
I mean, obviously Andrew Luck looked great and RG3 played great as well. But when you're looking at both players, you can just tell how comfortable Andrew Luck is than Robert Griffin III. You can just tell you can just see, and I love when people just say that.
Yeah, so he just downgraded the black quarterback. Just downgrade the black quarterback.
When I'm talking about something you can actually see on film and you can actually see in the actual game, you can see how this man controls the pocket. He moves. He can slide away from pressure. He knows when to get away. But when you watch RG3, when you watch him, you can just see his feet. He get happy feet, and he sometimes he hangs in there, but you can just tell he's not as comfortable, and he doesn't control that pocket. He doesn't have that pocket presence like Andrew Luck. And where did that come from? Obviously, Andrew Luck playing into pro styles offense since he was a sophomore in college, well, a redshirt freshman in college at Stanford with Jim Harbaugh and RG3 running that spread system at Baylor. So at this point in time, RG3's played. He hasn't disappointed at any point in time. But I just believe that the Colts made the right decision in drafting a guy like Andrew Luck. He's been ripping it up this whole preseason. He even ripped up one of the best defenses in the league in the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 80-yard drives down the field against the Steelers. This guy, he shows no fear at this point in time, and he's a rookie. And it's kind of amazing that what he's doing right now.
All right, Talon, I want to chime in a little bit on this, but I got some breaking news I want to break. You want to go ahead and play that clip for me for a second?
That's what I was telling you before.
Spectator sport. I promise you. Think about that. America will always win. Tonight I'm announcing...
I apologize, folks. I know it's a little bit tough for you guys to hear us, but basically we're looking at a church where there was a big fight at a church, and it's getting over 7 million views. It's an AME church fight. A reverend and a pastor in a fighting over church funds. Come on, man. Ratchet. Damn shame. I had enough. I had enough of the ratchetness. Thanks again, Spectator Sport. That's what we do. We report on the foolery that is Fly them. So let's go ahead and continue on. RG3, Luck. I still take, obviously I'm going to take Luck. I think RG3 had an excellent game yesterday. One thing I say is Luck looks a lot more confident in the pocket, and he looks a lot more assertive in the pocket, where, I mean, Luck steps into the pocket, and he really knows how to manipulate the pocket also. Now, where RG3, anytime the pressure gets a little bit there, as opposed to him stepping up in that pocket and being able to deliver from the pocket, he kind of bails out a little bit early instead of sitting there and kind of let it come to him. But, I mean, yesterday I seen a guy came straight up the middle on a delayed middle linebacker blitz, and, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like basically Griffin didn't even see the guy at all, and he came straight up the middle. So just some of the things that we've seen on it. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this LeBron debate. I know it's a lot of talk and innuendos going out about this whole LeBron MJ conversation. Like I told you before, I don't care about what no 6'6" shooting guard got to say, but it's all about 6'9". I mean, yeah, 6'9", 280, 275.
Shaka Page just hit me up because the Nando song, he wants you to interview him sometime this week.
Perfect. Well, I want to give a shout out to my boy Shaka Pace. We definitely gonna get him on the show, give him a great interview. I mean, this guy has to be one of the greatest bass players in South Florida and probably in the world. I mean, he's a worldwide musician. He has a lot of great credits to his name. I mean, he's playing on all the major venues, really doing his thing. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to Shaka Pace. I really think he's doing his thing. So we definitely look forward to having him on the show. And like I said, what were we talking about before I got into the whole Shaka Pace thing?
What are you talking about?
Let me tell you where to find us at, folks. Talent ain't even paying attention to the show.
We just got the RG3 topic, and now you're talking about LeBron and MJ.
Okay, LeBron and MJ. So go ahead, give me your LeBron and MJ debate.
Well, I mean, you already know where I sit with the LeBron and MJ debate. What I really wanted to get into was D-Wade comments about the whole LeBron and MJ debate.
Well, get into it.
The comments was basically D-Wade saying that he doesn't know if LeBron could ever live up to MJ's greatness. You know, he just doesn't, basically he didn't want to put that pressure on LeBron. And he's saying LeBron needs, you got to give him more time before you should even make those comparisons. And, I thought the comments were appropriate. I mean, you can't give LeBron James, LeBron, everyone likes LeBron, everyone loves LeBron, but you can't just go ahead and say you can take LeBron over Mike. I mean, what Mike has done in that league, and, 6 championships, 6 MVPs, the records that he broke, and just preventing other Hall of Fame candidates from getting championships. It's just, come on. I mean, it's just really not even a comparison. Just his will just to win. He never questioned Mike. Like people out here, they question LeBron. And if you're just talking about, the skill set, obviously, LeBron obviously can do things that Mike couldn't do as far as the passing. He's probably a little bit of a better rebound just because of the pure size. But if you're just talking about just greatness, like Dwayne Wade said, it's no comparison. It's Michael Jordan hands down. And I just want to you got to, give D-Wade his props for being, what word am I looking for? Being
honest.
Yeah, objective about the whole situation, but knowing LeBron like he knows him and being a teammate of his. But at the end of the day, if you're talking about pure greatness, it's not even a discussion to have.
Folks, let me go ahead and tell you again where to find us. Check us on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the #1, at Holland Jungle, at FUK Josh, at Spectator Sport, the #1. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're almost done with the big show. We definitely got to get our You a Fool in there, and I definitely want to go ahead and give just a little bit of insight into all the fantasy buffs out there. I know a lot of people are still drafting. We still got our Spectator Sport Fantasy League draft that should be up and running soon. Let me go ahead and give you a little insight into the top 10 injury-prone players that you may want to kind of shy away from. And we kind of debate this a little bit, talent. I got to go with my #1 guy. Has to be Vic. Michael Vick. I mean, in 2 preseason outings, he's been hurt in both games. I mean, you got hurt your thumb, then you hurt your ribs. I mean, you was hurt last year, you was hurt the year before. I mean, Vick probably only had 1 or 2 full seasons where he's played the full year. So if you're hurt every year, you're injury prone to me. How you feel about that, Vic?
I mean, he has to learn how to avoid hits and run out of bounds.
I think he's too small. He just can't do it. Another one, Matt Stafford. I think he's another flimsy quarterback. I mean, if he can stay healthy, he's definitely a great option. But with it was last year or the year before, it was his shoulder. He's coming off that shoulder injury. Before that, it was another hit.
Last year was his first season of a full season.
Yeah, so he finally got one full season in, so he's another injury-prone guy. And then that's #2. My third guy, another injury-prone guy to me is Andre Johnson. I mean, I'm sure he's probably second best receiver in this league. I think he's a major talent. But at the same time, I mean, this guy always has a hamstring issue. It's always an issue. Andre is always going to miss 4 games out of the season. If it's not his knee, hamstring, hand, feet, ankle, it's always something with Andre Johnson. And like I said, I'm a UM fan. It's all about the U. I'm not expecting much this year, by the way, but it's still all about the U. And with that being said, Andre Johnson, you made number 3 on the list. Number 4, I got to go with Javid Best. You want to chime in on any of those, my top 3 so far?
I mean, Stafford, like I said, hands down, last year was his first full season. I mean, Andre, I can't recall Andre besides last year being hurt. I don't have any other recollections, but I mean, the number 2 guy to me would be Matt Schaub. I would put Stafford I would put Schaub above Stafford if I was doing your list, because Schaub, he's the main reason why the Texans have really not been to a Super Bowl, because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah. Schaub is definitely on my list. He dropped a little bit lower just because I think he played enough injury-free seasons. But like you said, he is a definite injury-prone player. My 4th guy is going to be Javid Best. I think if this guy can't recover from an injury that happened like months and months ago.
Well, he can't recover from. Javid Best can't recover from what happened to him in college. He's a guy, people, if you don't know who Javid Best is, when in the Cal game, when he got hit, he was puking green. He's that guy. So he can't recover from that hit that happened in college, and that's why he can never stay healthy in the NFL, because he never recovered from that hit. And I probably don't even believe doctors probably think that this guy still should be playing football. Because when you're talking about puking green, that means you're talking about
stomach
stuff to test your what is the
stomach lining?
No, your stomach lining, but your large intestine.
Your large intestine.
Your large intestine, your small intestine. That's where all that green stuff, that's why I thought it was green. That's what the doctor said, is because something happened inside there. So I don't even think this guy should even be playing football anymore.
All right, so you definitely number 4 on my list. If you that injured from a hit that you can't even play ball no more, you definitely injury prone. Let's go to another guy. I hate to say it, Run DMC, Darren McFadden. McFadden definitely another injury guy. He's yet to. I mean, if he plays a full season, he's a beast. But I mean, full season is very hard to come by for a guy of his caliber. How you feel about Darren McFadden being there?
Yeah, I mean, McFadden's having issues. I mean, he's having injury. He's been hurt since he's been in the league. I mean, it's nothing really to debate. I mean, you got to have a full, healthy season. I mean, the guy led the league in rushing last year until he got hurt in week 6. So
another guy who's been injury prone. We're going to go with Rashard Mendenhall. He came into this league talking trash. Ray knocked him out, broke his collarbone. And then last year he had another major injury. And I think he had another injury in between that. So with 3 fairly significant injuries, and where you missing a substantial amount of time, you definitely made our list, Mendenhall. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, Gerald McCoy. In 2 years, Gerald McCoy has played 6 games in 2 years, being the number 3 or number 3 overall pick. Yeah. So you played 6 games in 2 years. So you got Ndamukong Suh becoming a Pro Bowler, and you can barely stay on the field. So can we officially call Gerald McCoy a bust?
I mean, you can't really call a guy a bust who didn't play. So, I mean, until he plays and outperforms, then he'll be a bust. But if he can't even get on the field, how can I call him a bust? I don't even know what he can do.
All right, let's go to our next pick. I'm going to go with our 7th, or excuse me, that was the 7th pick. So our 8th pick is going to be Matt Schaub. I'll go with Matt Schaub at that pick. Like we talked about a little earlier, he's definitely been the hindrance in the Texans' whole Super Bowl aspirations, with him and Andre not being able to be on the field together at the same time. So you made the list, Stafford, or Schaub, excuse me. Let's go to the next one. I'm going with another quarterback, Sam Bradford, a young guy who also in his 2nd year was injured. And, you know, it's a bit unfair to put him on the list, but
he's been injured.
He's been injured, you know.
College.
Coming off the college injuries.
College injury, and now you're translating here at a bad offensive line. Rams can't protect them. Guys are already injury prone. So it's just a transition. I mean, he left college hurt basically, and now he's in the NFL getting hurt.
Let's go ahead and go to the next one, Sidney Rice. Sidney Rice is the final guy on the list. Sidney Rice, you're talking about a Pro Bowl caliber talent at the receiver position, 3 years ago with Brett Favre in Minnesota? And then after that, you telling me this guy's been injured. I mean, you got 3 straight injury years. You're injury prone, man. So his stock went from being probably top 5 receivers taken off the board after that year with Brett to being like an afterthought in fantasy leagues everywhere. So no one's thinking of Sidney Rice doing anything. So I just and he's still a young player, you know. I mean, what he's in 5-6 years in.
Yeah,
so he's
probably like his 5th or 6th season.
So I mean, he's still a fairly young player. He still have at least a few good years ahead of him if he could ever bounce back and get his head right.
Getting nagging injuries every season. I mean, I think he just debuted in his first preseason game just the other night. So I mean, he was, you know what I'm saying, he only played 1 preseason game so far, and they already had 2.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw one in from other sports. Was gonna be my most injured player of all time. I'm gonna go with Greg Oden.
Yeah, hands down, Greg Oden, the guy.
Most injured people.
Supposed to change the center position, and you just couldn't even stay up.
Okay.
You're too busy sending naked pictures of yourself instead of worrying about your health.
So Odin takes the award for the paper thin award, folks. That's our show, Spectator Sport. Thanks again for tuning in. Check us on YouTube. Check us on Twitter. Look out for that new joint from Nano Chain, Ken Soy, Tones and Chiclayano. The album's dropping real soon. The FUK Josh mixtape boy is coming soon, so look out for it. You want to give me a You a Fool? You want to give me a You a Fool, Tyler? I know there's a lot of fools.
My You a Fool is H and not Jeff Ireland, but Joe Fieldman. H, you're my You a Fool because you really believe that Jeff Ireland is going to cut a guy that he's not paying and also is a Pro Bowl corner. And Joe Fieldman, you're a fool because you've gotten rid of 2 Pro Bowl players since you became the head coach. And I don't understand how you're going to win football games with getting rid of all your best players. So those 2 guys are my You a Fool, and I'm texting H right now just letting him know he's not You a Fool. He's a bum, he's a gambling junkie, he has problems, he thinks everything's rigged, he drinks too much. Stay off the Hennessy, fool.
Folks, I'm not going to go as far as to tell anyone to stay off of anything or that they gamble too much or anything like that. But I will say this, my You a Fool got to be the cheaters and the scumbags out there who think they can get over and we don't see it. Roger Clemens and Lance Armstrong. Both of y'all banned, suckers. Spectator Sport. Y'all banned from the show.